Hello everyone and welcome back to some Wario Land Shake It with every single coin. This is part 15, so let's go. And today we're going to be taking down to Prison. And this is a pretty long level, so in order for this not to be a 30-minute video, I'm going to be speeding it up a little bit. And it's a pretty long level because we get the reintroduction of the Rocket Bucket. Everyone loves motion controls, right? This first spike pinwheel is kind of annoying due to the fact that we have a large quantity of coins here. Although we are able to avoid the pinwheel and we're able to grab all the coins. Although this first room is pretty tedious. Although we do have access to the rocket bucket pretty close, so it's not as bad as some of the other areas. I just have to go grab this last coin. And there we go. Just gotta inch up. And there we go. Now I'm going to go ahead and use a trick called rocket bucket carrying, where I'm actually going to be using the rocket bucket in order to carry objects. And this is actually kind of risky because if the coin bag / enemies in the wrong spot, the rocket bucket will crush it on its own. So you have to be wary of that. Next we get a few puzzle rooms. And we actually have to be pretty cautious here because we can actually make mistakes. I was lucky enough to realize something. That being the pitchfork is necessary for our section. One thing I do is I go ahead and grab this treasure chest first, though, and grab the air guitar. But then I noticed this little shake pillar to the right, which we're going to need to go ahead and grab a pitchfork for. We can go ahead and take him over here. And we have to throw him at the right height in order to be able to bounce off of him. I found just letting the conveyor push you, and it sets you up into the right spot. And this allows us to grab another giant coin bag. I do a little bit more exploring before moving on. This room really doesn't have anything special in it. Just a few floating bandaneros. But then in the next room we do have to use another pitchfork in order to make our way up here, which allows us to grab some more coins as well as a diamond. Then we get this room, which is actually kind of a pain because we get to deal with a sort of little challenge every single time we want to attempt something. Now this little challenge requires us to only light up the blue switch, or unlight the blue switch, then light the red and yellow switch. And then we basically have to set these to opposite in order to make our way up into an area. And then we get to this section, which we get lots of coin pinwheels, and some even overlap. And it's really annoying because, well, the pinwheels are faster than the rocket bucket's descent. So it's pretty tedious in order to be able to collect the coins on the outside. Not to mention they overlap. And every single time you fail, you have to go back through here and restart. I was lucky enough to get lots of E coins on my third try. But this section could have easily taken me way longer. I go back through. And then I have to try quite a few times because I was trying to be greedy and go as fast as I can. So it took me quite a few tries, but I was able to do it. And no, you cannot cheat it by just flying as fast as you can over. It makes it a little bit easier, but not by much. But after that, we're able to grab the flying floor pillow. And then we're able to move on. And then if you just saw, we have an iron crate, which means we get the wonderful use of the dash cannon again. So what I found to do is sort of go back through here and get the dash cannon. You have to relight the blocks. And then what you have to do is you have to do a quick turn while sliding off the blue edge. It's nothing really tricky, but it's kind of annoying. I found a good way in order to hit the switches is to actually turn around and then hit them coming back. This gives you a easier way to hit them and a less risky way. So then I go ahead and do a quick slide off, and then I'm able to go ahead and jump up here and collect the treasure chest. And now we get to the fun part, the exit. So without further ado, let's go. But first we get to deal with actually getting to the checkpoint. Alright. First of all, we get the wonderful dealing with our first peekaboo, which aren't really that difficult enemies, but they can be kind of annoying. Although sometimes they're useful because they throw out bombs. Next we go ahead and grab a dash cannon, make sure not to jump while falling off the first edge. Otherwise you'll crash into a wall, which isn't good. That whole first section's basically free. There's no luck in it. And then we get to this section, which I have a sort of weird strategy for. My strategy involves just going around a little bit, then jumping out of the cart, then bringing the gold money bag as far as to the right as you can before shaking it out. If you leave the rocket bucket on the edge, it will actually get in the way, so I don't recommend that. Next, we go up here, and you know how I said if you leave the rocket bucket on the edge, you won't have enough room? Yeah, that's true here. So we're going to carry the gold coin bag all the way up here instead, using the rocket bucket carrying technique. I found it works better if you put it more on the edge. Next we go over here. I recommend just ignoring the gold bandolier at first. Otherwise you will lose downward momentum, and this will make it really hard to be able to get those last few coins. Next, go ahead and shake the gold bandolier directly into the cart. This works because the bandolier's height is so small, it can actually, well, get shook, well, all onto the cart and directly back at you. With a giant coin bag, it'll actually go above the rocket bucket. Next we go through this little running section. It's not too difficult, but it is a little tricky in some parts. We slide out here, and we have to hold left, otherwise we won't grab those last few coins. We're able to leave, and with that, prison is complete. It was more tedious than most levels, but it wasn't really too bad. But with that, thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.